From the courtroom to the campaign trail and back again. That's been the current path for former President Trump. And even on court days, Trump is maximizing his time, making small but effective campaign stops here in New York City. 2 weeks ago, he visited the Manhattan bodega, whose owner had been charged with murder for defending his store and his body against an attack. Trump used the stop to call for tougher crime laws. And remember, there were crowds in that Brooklyn bodega shouting 4 more years and go Trump. Last week, Trump spent time with construction workers, praising their hard work before heading to court for the day. And just yesterday, he delivered pizzas to New York City firefighters, New York's bravest, who even in deep blue NYC begged Trump to, quote, save us. Watch. Yeah, Sandra, I think that firefighter speaks for a lot of us New Yorkers. If we could SOS, we would. And who better to hear that than President Trump?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he got the message that he can be out there campaigning, and he certainly used the opportunity to do things like this. Remember the construction workers. He arrived at that construction site early in the morning, got big cheers. He got big cheers here as well. Also, as he was heading into the courtroom this morning, he used the opportunity to talk about the economy. We just got some brand new jobs numbers out, and he said these are really bad. His take is that the economy's not going well. So more and more, he is trying to get his message out there in the hours he is not sitting in that courtroom.
To be frank, it's incredibly impressive, Hegseth. I mean, I get a good night's sleep, and I can't keep up with the president's schedule. Even reading it, this is an incredible example of his stamina, his endurance, and his commitments, I argue, to those who he does represent. And you put that in contrast to the current president, who does anything but.
Yeah, it is sheer fortitude. It's a willingness to say, you're locking me up in a courtroom. I know it's election interference. I'm going to tell everybody that every time that it's election interference. I'm going to remind you that I should be campaigning somewhere else. But since you have me trapped, I'm going to go to all the places where Democrats used to go and where Joe could never go. So reminding the world I'm a different kind of candidate. You think 10 years ago a Republican going to a bodega or the FDNY is getting the same reception that he gets, or a construction site? No. The whole game's changed. So I think they had him trapped, but he's smarter than them.
And the irony, Harris, is that Joe Biden was just a block away from here at Howard Stern's show. But during that visit, he didn't visit FDNY. He didn't visit NYPD. He didn't visit with any one of those Americans that President Trump has stood by while he's been in town.
Well, heck, what about Columbia University? That was popping up. He had a whole host of opportunities he could have delved into. Of course, there would have been as many picket signs against him as there are against Israel right now. You mentioned something, Sandra, and it was when he came out to talk this morning, and he did talk about the economy. And I thought it was really fascinating. After he made his comments and he talked about court and some other things, too, reporters were asking him about, well, how do you solve our problems and put back jobs? And he talked about energy and so on. And then he moved on to other things. But I think at this point, on behalf of wherever those people are coming from, they're asking for Americans. We want to know, well, how would you fix it? Which was fascinating to me. I mean, we don't even see that with Joe Biden.
I think the answer was drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, he did. He said drill, baby, drill.
You know, images are everything in politics. And I think he's really hit his stride, because the image you're getting is Trump as a man of the people when he's at the Harlem Bodega, when he's with the union workers at 6 a.m., when he is with FDNY handing out pizzas. And then the establishment attacking Trump is the contrast when he's in court. And he's learned to play a little defense. Look, you know, no, this, breathe the case, but then move to economy, move to immigration, move to the protest. And the image you're getting is someone who's an outsider. You know, he's not an outsider. He's an incumbent. You want to be an outsider in this political climate. And this image of the establishment in the courthouse, man of the people out on the trail, is a powerful one. He's made himself the outsider. That will behoove him in a few months.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.